Hello and welcome to Behind the Lines. I'm Diane Dayton. Today I'm with Mike Brubaker. Thank you for joining us today, Mike.
Diane, it's a privilege to be here.
I love the quote that you shared with me. It's Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world, for indeed, it's the only thing that ever has."
That's a very famous quote, and I saw that quote for the first time about 25, 30 years ago when I was visiting the Kellogg Foundation, looking for some grants on how to help people in need, and they had that as a very large banner across one of their hallways.
And it really does make a difference what each individual does in coming together. And I know you and I have had other conversations before about doing things that really make a difference for good in life, because that's really what it's about, isn't it? You know, changing lives for the better.
It sure is. And so we have work in our lives, we have family, we have social activities. And I can't tell you how many times I don't want to be disparaging about having social time with my friends. Of course I'm not. However, you go home and you had good, interesting conversation, but you're not moving the needle really on anything. So even if a portion of people, when they gather socially, can say, we're going to raise a little bit of money and send it to the local food bank, or we're going to discuss, plan, and strategize some type of an event that benefits others. Or we're going to, next time we meet for dinner, instead of meeting for dinner, we're all going to go down and volunteer somewhere. And I think every once in a while, small groups of people need to think about that.
Absolutely, and I know that's what you've been doing in a lot of different areas. And the area that we're going to talk about today is the Ryan Brubaker Foundation.
Yes.
For those who don't know about this, explain this, what it is, how it started, that sort of thing.
So it's emotional for me, so I don't talk about this much, but my wife of 36 years and I have 3 children. Allison's our oldest, Chris is middle, and our youngest son, Ryan, passed away when he was 21 years old on September 11th. And we decided, number one, we loved our child every single day. I had a parent reach out to me. I have maybe 10 parents a week reach out to me, because when this happened 7 years ago, it was in the newspaper. And the only reason it was in the newspaper on the front page 3 or 4 days in a row is because I was a state senator at the time. If I would have had most any other job, it would not have gotten the media coverage, but it did. And you know, I didn't like it at first, and now I see it as a blessing, because parents are reaching out to me. And when they do, the first thing I tell them, I'm not an expert in any field, I'm just a parent that lost a child. So if I can come hold your hand, listen to your story, of course I'd be happy to do that. And I got on that tangent by saying, my wife and I tell each of our children every single day that we love them. And if you have a child that died, past tense, one of the most comforting feelings that we have today, 7 years later, is that we knew the night before our son passed away, the prior day, he heard from his mom and dad that we love you, Ryan. So it's something that's very, very important and very comforting, and we should say that to our friends and family a lot more than what we generally do today. But the Ryan Brubaker Foundation started right after our son's death, where and the mission is to help local youth in need. We've not defined local, we've not defined youth, and we've not defined need. However, we really believe it's the greater Lancaster County area. It's a small, we just have one event a year. It nets almost $100,000.
Oh, wow.
And all those dollars then go back to helping local youth in need. Phil Haven counseling. So if a parent needs counseling but can't afford it, can't gain access to the proper insurance, we want to provide that. The Boy Scouts of America, it costs $80 to send a boy or a girl to a scout camp. And $80 for many people listening to this television show seems like a relatively modest amount of money that you can save it. But there are parents that can't save it. So if you begin to think that your boy or girl, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts comes home, said, Mom, Dad, I want to go to camp, and they get said no because they don't have the $80. We wanted to eliminate that. So every child in Lancaster County that wants to go to Boy Scout or Girl Scout camp, they can't afford it, there's a fund there now to pay that bill. There's a program called Avidum. It started in Calico High School, and they made up the name. It's a marvelous story. We could do a whole show. Maybe we
will.
Just on Avidum. But made up the name. One of their goals is to get it into Webster's dictionary, and it means I've got your back. And what Avidum teaches kids to do is say, your peers, your friends in 8th, 9th, 10th grade will tell you things that they would never tell their parent or a teacher. So when you hear something from your friend, go tell a trusted advisor, tell a teacher, tell a guidance counselor, tell your parent, tell somebody, confide. And don't think like you're I don't know what the term is, ratting out your friend. You're not doing that, you're helping your friend. So Avidum walks through that process. And as a result of that, now most of the school districts in Lancaster County have an Avidum program. And our son's foundation started that at Warwick High School and at all 3 technical education schools. It used to be called VOTEC, now we call it Lancaster County Technical Education, which is a fantastic experience. And stories emerge from students helping students. And I could go on, but those are some of the beneficiaries of Ryan's annual dinner.
There's such a ripple effect with this, isn't it? Going out in the lives that are touched. You have some wonderful partners. Jeff Musser Foundation, tell me about that.
So Jeff is a dear friend. As a matter of fact, today is Friday, so 1 week from today, he'll be having a dinner, and he'll raise a lot of money. He raises a lot more money than our son's foundation does. What he does is he has 2 events a year, a golf tournament at Fox Chase and then an annual dinner. And he raises money for families that have a young person that's terminal. And if you've never had a family friend that has a terminal child, then you don't know this. But when you have a terminally ill child, either one or both parents must quit their job because that child takes so much support to get them to the hospital every day, blood tests, all. So, and when even one of 2 income generators in a family quit their job, now it's difficult or impossible to pay the mortgage. The Jeff Musser Foundation pays the mortgage. Jeff Musser Foundation pays the car bill. Jeff Musser Foundation pays the insurance on the car. So full support. That way, the financial strain is off that family, and they can focus all of their attention on caring for that terminally ill child. And in some cases, those terminally ill children no longer become terminal. And in the other cases, the terminally ill child, as that child enters the final phases of life, gets more, it's very emotional, more time and attention from the parents.
Yes.
So Ryan's foundation supports Jeff Musser's foundation, and Jeff Musser's foundation also supports Ryan's.
It's partnerships, and it's about lasting relationships. That's what's key with this too. And some of these relationships, the Lancaster CTC that you talked about, Career Technology Center, Phil Haven you mentioned, the Pennsylvania Boy Scouts, Pennsylvania Dutch Boy Scouts, Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology as well, correct?
That's a great one. That's a great one as well. They're doing an Avida project there as well, and then there's also a grant to help students that can't afford to go to school there. Thaddeus Stevens College is, I believe, one of the best trade schools, post-high school trade schools in the nation. It's one of 2 trade schools that we have here in Pennsylvania, but it's located right here in Lancaster County. They graduate 400 students a year, and those 400 students have 1,100 jobs waiting for them.
Wow.
So it's remarkable. So our son went there to school. That school was the right school for him at the right stage of his life. And as a result of that, then some of these dollars that we raise goes to help Thaddeus Stevens School. In some cases, it's counseling as well. For 400 graduating students in a 2-year school means they have 800 students there, and they have 1 guidance counselor. So that guidance counselor can't take the load. So any excess load of emotional support that a child might need would go to Phil Haven, and Ryan's Foundation would pay that.
Oh, that's wonderful. The Emerald Foundation, wow.
Emerald Foundation is a very good friend of mine, Joe Besker. He went out on a limb, bought what we used to call the Jewish Community Center. That's what it was. He bought that property. He believed that there should be a hub for not-for-profits. He built it. He financed it himself. He's now reaching out to the community to help finance other programs. He has, I'll get the number wrong, but I'm going to guess 20 or more programs, active programs going in there that are helping people that need help. He's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, he really is. The Warwick Education Foundation and the Warwick High School. Boy, there's a lot going on there too, isn't there?
There sure is. So I was on the very first board that formed the Warwick Education Foundation. Education foundations are very important because they can raise money privately. And if you're a teacher and you're doing it, and we monitor your progress in some way through student feedback or faculty feedback, and you're doing an exceptional job, we can give you a $500 bonus. A school district, of course, can't do that. Likewise, if you're a teacher and you come up with a new concept and you need $500 or $1,000 of materials and the school does not have that in their budget, the foundation's able to give that teacher a check. Of course, that money then for a project would stay in the classroom. It goes to help buy materials. So we're very supportive of Warwick starting an Avidum program and Warwick Education Foundation supporting teachers that are doing an exceptional job, and of course, the majority of them
That's excellent. And I see this keeps growing too with these partnerships and relationship too. So if someone is with a group or they have an idea, they can reach out to you. Is that right, Mike?
That's exactly right. And this is really important. So when we first started the foundation, we thought we'd have a board. We thought we would do our own thing, interview people that need help. And then we realized there's so many. We just listed off about 6, 7, 8, 9 existing entities that are doing a great job. So we thought, why in the world we want to reinvent the wheel when we can just take some of these limited funds that we have, put them into organizations and individuals that are already doing a great job, and with a little bit more money can help more people. So that's what we're doing.
Absolutely, that makes total sense to me. And the dinner and auction, the Ryan Brubaker Foundation dinner and auction is coming up on Sunday, October 7th, and we're going to have a lot of details on how people can be a part of that. We're going to take a brief pause, so stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We are talking about the Ryan Brubaker Foundation, and there's a fantastic dinner and auction that's going to be happening on Sunday, October 7th, and we need all the details from Mike Brubaker. So this is going to be held at the General Center, and tell us about this.
Well, our son passed away 7 years ago, and we started this foundation. And we've had it every year at the General Sutter Inn. We picked the General Sutter Inn because we're from Lidditz. Now friends of ours own the General Sutter Inn. David Stout's family bought it. And it's just a perfect venue for it. It sells out every year. There's an outdoor patio portion, and there's an auction. So people are donating actively right now. We're in the very early end of, or middle end of September right now, and this event is on October 7th. We have it every year, the first Sunday night in October. We always sell out. We have a few seats left, so whenever this airs, if anybody wants to come, we'd love to have them. But we ask for people to buy either to sponsor a table. We ask people to buy a seat at for dinner, or we ask people just to either send a check, a donation, or donate an item. The item can be anywhere from a $5 to $10 item. Just today, I got two. Didn't get the whole beach house, but got a beach house for a week.
Good, good.
In a non-hurricane area.
Good, good.
So those just are immensely generous donations. So we go anywhere from $5 to $10, the whole way up to $10,000 a week, luxury vacations, and that's what helps raise the money.
It really does. So the hours on this, I think it's 5 till 8 is when the dinner and live auction, and then 8 to 10, there's also something optional out in the patio. What is that?
That's correct. Actually, what we do, we flipped it now.
Oh, did you flip it?
So there's an earlier,
earlier
reception.
Okay.
And then we'll do the dinner and auction, and then many people will be on their way, and then some people will stay for a little while.
Okay.
But there's actually, even though this foundation came as a result of our son's death, so we have that to communicate. But it's much more of a celebration. It's taking our son's life and saying, when you make a donation, that donation is going, in Ryan's name, is going to help somebody else. And we're extremely serious about making sure that mission, helping local youth in need, actually gets properly executed.
Yeah, and that need, just if someone's just joining us, maybe we can expound a little bit more on how that's defined, because it's a broad stroke with that, isn't it, Mike?
I'm immensely concerned. I'm an eternal optimist, but I'm immensely concerned, just like the call I got today from a father whose child is cutting themselves and does not know what to do. I don't know what to do, so I have to reach out to experts and connect that person to experts that they might not have a relationship to. But there's so much so many youth are struggling, and that struggle is quiet. In some cases, the parents don't even know it. So in some cases, we want to make parents aware, give parents tools to understand if their child is struggling. Parents are busy. So if there's a one-parent home or two, both are working, multiple siblings, and I said the other night with some of my friends, there's really only two types of families. Families that have some problems and issues, and then there's families that do, but say they don't.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say by that is
yes,
everybody has, there's an issue somewhere.
Yes.
And many families, thank goodness, through their own family and through their church or synagogue, they can deal with it. They can find a way to navigate. But through my 8 years in the state Senate, what I realized is when someone walked in that Senate door, many times they would walk in that Senate door because it was their last door of hope. They didn't know where else to go. They needed a doctor. They needed access to transportation. They just applied to 100 jobs and did not get a single feedback. And at first I thought it had nothing to do with my Senate job, and then I realized maybe it's has everything to do with the Senate job. So it really opened my eyes to realize that there are a lot of people out there that need help. They're too proud to ask, but they'll tell you if you take a little bit of time to sit down and understand them and ask the right questions.
Yeah. So life after being a senator, boy, it really has opened up so many other areas. And the experience that you had, the wealth of connections, is just adding to what you're able to do, don't you think?
Yes. So a lot of people talk about networking, and networking does indeed pay. It's not easy. It's difficult. And I think it's critically important that people understand the value of networking. And it goes back to the Margaret Mead quote that you said at the beginning. Never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world, for indeed it's the only thing that ever has. So when 2 or 3 like-minded people get together to decide to make a difference, can you make a difference on your own? Yes. But you can get so much further with a small group of compassionate people that really believe in that change. And today, how can you go wrong? How in the world can anyone go wrong by saying, I am going to get a couple people together, I'm going to improve my community. I don't care how you define improvement, whether it's picking up litter or helping young people. But community and youth, if you want to make a difference in this world, in my humble opinion, you pick family, community, youth, and you start to focus an effort with a few of your friends about improving community, family, and or youth, and I think that's what turns this world around. It
absolutely does. Let me just ask you one other question, I think. If someone has a need.
Yes,
and
great question, thank you.
Yeah, how do they lock into what you're doing?
Thank you so much. Well, our son's foundation has a website, and that is www. His initials are CB, Ryan Curtis Brubaker, fund, FUND.org. That's rcbfund.org. You can call my personal cell phone. I don't mind that at all. 717-945-9139. And then finally is an email, mwbrubaker@gmail.com.
Okay, and that's how we can reach out to you. And I love the open heart that you have. Because that's really what this is about. And it's reaching out and connecting people and partnerships and moving things forward in a positive manner. I have a feeling you and I are going to be talking about a lot more in the future, too.
I hope so, Diane. I look forward to that. Thank
you for what you're doing, and we want to encourage everybody to be a part of this, to check this out, to go to the site. Once again, it is Sunday, and it is October 7th, the Ryan C. Brubaker Foundation Dinner and Auction. And if you can't make it to that, any other support I know will be welcome, correct?
I was just going to mention that we'd be happy to partner with any other not-for-profit and either share those proceeds with the other not-for-profit or push them all that way if that's the right thing to do. So we're ready to partner, use our network, and drive people to other events as well.
Yeah, let's keep this going. Let's keep it growing.
I like that.
You know, we can make a big difference in the
community.
Yes, we can. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, my honor.
Thank you for joining us today, too. I'm Diane Dayton with Behind the Lines, reminding you to look behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find.